Hi, this is Heather Luna from KDZ, and I'm going to talk to you about tone policing in this workshop, this video series. And I'm going to start with something a bit abrupt. I'm going to say something that will kind of upset your nervous system, perhaps, and just have a feel on how it sits with you. You might want to pause the video and notice what kinds of thoughts come up for you when you hear me speak like this. Okay, so here we go. Our abrupt exercise. I am so sick of men interrupting me when I speak. Stop it. You might want to pause the video and think about what you think about me when I say that, what comes up for you, judgments, feelings. And then try to regulate your nervous system a bit in case it shook you up, in case it unsettled you, dysregulated you. So you can breathe and look around and notice where you are. And that I wasn't actually speaking to someone just then. So most people in our society have been taught to be polite, to speak kindly, to not raise our voices. You know, if you can't think of anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And this is not just a human thing. This is actually a cultural pattern that we have. There are other cultures where it's a lot more loud, direct, full of life and energy, and that's normal. And there are cultures where maybe it's not healthy when they do that, but there are other cultures where it is quite healthy that they do that. But in our culture, we like to avoid conflict, which is one of the white supremacy culture patterns that we look at in the first workshop series. And it's quite a middle class pattern to be nice and to not rock the boat. And so maybe when you heard me speak angrily to a man, that would have brought up loads of, this is taboo. You can't do that. You're not supposed to confront people like that. You're supposed to just like maybe put a little look on your face, maybe have a quiet word with someone later, but not rock the boat publicly in that way in front of other people, etc. So we're taught a lot about what's appropriate behavior, what is appropriate for men, for women, what's forgivable, etc. Okay, so sit with that. If you're in the Facebook group, you could go to this guide and share your thoughts and feelings that come up, your reflections with other people who've attended the workshop or who have watched the video as well. And obviously, at any time that you want a live workshop to work on this with other people, you can book something with me. Okay, so this workshop was inspired by this book by Layla F. Saad, Me and White Supremacy. And I really recommend this book. It goes through lots of things like fragility and the tone policing. And we're going to look at some things that she says here. So these are common responses when people kind of show their anger or show that they're upset about what someone has said. We could say, I wish you would say what you're saying in a nicer way. I can't take in what you're telling me about your lived experiences because you sound too angry. Your tone is too aggressive. The language you are using to talk about your lived experiences is hateful or divisive. You should address white people in a more civil way if you want us to join your cause. Obviously, that's when if we were calling out racism. Just today on a Facebook post that a friend had written referring to Colombia, which is where I live here in South America, there were some comments that were very stereotypical racist about Colombians. And I've been well trained into our society, middle class society, and I wanted to say, I wanted to swear and get angry at these men for talking about Colombia in such a stereotypical racist way. And if I did it that way, likely people would be, some people would be put off by it because they've been trained to say these kinds of things, that you should address white people in a more civil way if you want us to join your cause. The way you were talking about this issue is not productive. Just pause with that. You might recognize these phrases as things that have come out of your mouth or things that you have thought. Certainly, it's been that way for me, particularly, not just society, but also things like nonviolent communication, where we're trained to police ourselves, not just others, but to think, I need to think of a way, I can't show how angry I am. Okay. If you would just calm down, then maybe I would want to listen to you. You're bringing too much negativity into this space, and you should focus on the positive. Those are just a couple of more examples of what can happen. Okay, so this video is quite short because normally we would spend a lot of time with one another looking at examples, talking about how it feels. And then lastly, we would be looking at what would it take for us to be able to actually hear what people are saying, no matter how they're saying it. So it's kind of going back to the Being an Ally workshop, which was a few videos ago, about how we can have humility and curiosity. And so rather than thinking that the other person needs to change what they're doing in order for us to learn about racism or sexism, for example, we can say, we have no idea what's going on for that person right now. We don't know how many times they've had microaggressions, racist things thrown at them their whole entire life, how the system is against them, etc., etc. Today, what just happened now could have been the 10th thing that happened. And they're fed up. It could be that. Or it could be they're just fed up in general with the system and they don't want to police themselves. They want to say what they actually think. And so we can have that humility and curiosity to say, Yeah, you sound really angry about this. Let me try to understand what you're saying because I want to learn, because I don't want to hurt people unintentionally. And I'm open and I'm listening to what you're saying. You know, you don't have to say it exactly like that if it sounds like it could drive someone crazy to do that. But to be able to like not get so triggered when we hear that and instead actually pay attention to the context and the content and learn something. And it's that other person's work, if they want it, to change how they bring things up. That's it, if they want to, if they think it's necessary, or that could be a compromise, that they shouldn't have to make. And so we just don't need to judge in that space. Our work as the person hearing that tone, the aggression, is to re-regulate ourselves and listen to the content. So I would love to hear from everyone about examples, about questions, whether you're on the side of the person that's been angry. Women get it from men a lot, like you sound too angry. I can't listen to you. That kind of stuff. So show us what you feel comfortable showing us, but show us both sides where you had trouble hearing someone and you had people not hearing you. Share that in the Facebook group or in the in a workshop. And as always, we're out here in Colombia. The cost of living is low, which means British pounds and US dollars go really far. So I'd love it if you could make any kind of donation to the PayPal account, Heather Luna 1. And I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.